Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's the Hostos Student Leadership Academy Friday Ambassador Workshop Series. We're still virtual at the moment. It's 4/28, 2023. I'm happy to see you all, and we're glad that you can make it here today. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce you to a good friend of mine. We were just reminiscing that we know each other for quite some time. It's about 23 years or something like that. But she started doing workshops with us last year. She's an entrepreneur and has wonderful, great business models that she's working with. Has a wonderful following in a lot of different areas. And I asked her if she could prepare something about entrepreneurship for the workshop today, and she very humbly did so. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say, knowing that she's a wonderful professional who has a great deal of experience. And so I'll introduce you to Miss Tasheena Salmon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me again. And yes, 23 years is a long time to know Jason. If you know Jason, that's a long time to put up with him. But thank you again for having me. It's an honor and a privilege. So before we get started, today I want to dive into balance in the world of career and entrepreneurship. So does anyone have a business or plan on starting a business in the future? You could type it in the chat. Okay. Thank you for raising your hand. I see one so far. Armani is quiet now that I started, but
Hey.
You plan on becoming an entrepreneur, already started a business. Kate, did you start a business already, or you plan on starting a business?
I have thought about getting into the culinary business because I cook, and I make drinks. So I have thought about getting into something like that.
Okay, consulting firm in the chat. Okay, that sounds good. I really don't want to mispronounce your name, but I'm about to unmute you. And Samani?
Yeah, Samana.
Okay.
Yeah.
You plan on starting a business, or you already started?
Yeah, I already started with maybe the paperwork and a little bit of the groundwork. So I plan to start a nonprofit that would sort of like serve the youth in the Bronx and sort of to bring the youth together, sort of and teach them primarily basic Islamic sciences. And but not limited to that, of course, and open them, basically unite the kids in the community and bring them together to a range of activities that would not only enhance their spiritual lives, but also, their academics and other social aspects of their lives.
Wonderful. That's so wonderful. And you're gonna do it. Hopefully, everything I discussed today, or I'll be able to shed some light on the entrepreneur world for you today. And feel free to ask me any questions. So let me quickly Jason, you allowed me, I can share screens, right? Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Technical difficulty trying to do multiple screens at the same time. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's not making me. Okay, here we go. Can everybody see that?
It's still kind of dark. It says that you're sharing, but we only see like that message.
It's loading. Yeah.
All right, let me try it again. How about now?
Yep, we see
Yeah.
it.
Awesome, wonderful. So I see a few folks just joined us. Welcome. My name is Tasheena Salmon. Today, I will focus on creating boundaries between entrepreneurship and a career. We live in a world now where I'm sure you see it flooded on social media. A lot of people are talking about the entrepreneurial journey, but very few are talking about how do we balance a career and entrepreneur. You can do it all. You don't have to pick one. So on the agenda today, you just learn a little bit about me, how to get started in the entrepreneurial world if you plan on it. I will give you a lot of tips about that. And then also just how to tie it all in together. So my career resume is pretty long, but this is a quick Snapchat, a snippet of it. The Snapchat, talk about social media, right? So I started at Bronx Community College with my associate in psychology. Then I moved on to Mercy College, where I got my bachelor's in psychology. And then I got my master's in social work at NYU. My clinical practice is focusing on adults with substance use and mental health. So my day job, I work with adults suffering from opioid use disorders and co-occurring mental health. And then in my afternoon contract job, I focus on adults suffering from a line of mental illnesses, from depression to schizophrenia, bipolar, whatever you can think of, I'm working in it. Before venturing into the clinical social work field, I was an educator for about 15 years. I'm aging myself. Amani, do not say anything. But I taught elementary for quite some time. And then I became a dean of students in a few charter schools in Harlem before becoming a social worker. Now, my entrepreneurial world, I am a business owner for a candle company, the Simple Pleasures Candle Company, which I launched 2020. I've written a book, I create content, I host a podcast. I'm a mentee and a mentor. Mouthful, how do I balance everything? Hopefully what I shared today will give you some hope that you really can do it all. Starting a business during the pandemic was not easy, but it was doable because I was working from home at the time and I was able to do a lot of research. Now, what I can say about starting a business, never try to start a business because of the money. You'll get bored. You'll get bored, you'll get bored, get bored. When you start a business, you should come from a place of purpose, come from a place of providing a service or a need for others. And you should like it, because there'll be days when you really do not want to run your business, but because you love it, it will not feel like additional work. And somehow you find the energy to do it. Now, when it comes to candles, I'm obsessed with candles, as most people like candles. They like their home smelling good. Anything with fragrance, I really enjoyed it. And it became my self-care during the pandemic. And something just told me, like, listen, turn it into a business. And I went into the rabbit hole. And now I know so much about candles. I'm obsessed with candles. The wax to use, the wick to use. I'm like, it's a science project at my house. Now, before you get started in a business, and as to not Mani, I'm mispronouncing your name, I'm so sorry again for that, but it's very important to have a vision for what you want. You need a vision for your business, because if you don't have a vision, you're going to be easily led. If you don't have a vision, you're going to get caught up comparing yourself to other businesses. So you need to start with a clear vision of what you want it to look like. And not just the vision for the present, but in the future, because it's not about where you're starting, it's about where you're going, right? The thing is just to start. And unfortunately, we live in a space now where social media let it seem like as soon as you start, you become rich. Lies. That does not happen. Always remember, everything big was once small. All these ginormous companies that we see, they were all small at one point. But how do they keep going? They have a vision, right? So once you come up with your vision and you can see the full scope of what you want to do, and you know that you have a passion for it and a love for it that will carry you through 5, 6, 10 years, now you have to have a plan. And you have to plan for everything that might happen. Plan for failure as well, because failure is a part of the process. For some reason, a lot of people are afraid to fail, but it's good to fail because you're going to learn from your mistakes. I like to say fail forward. Okay, once you fail, brush yourself off and move forward. Keep going. So you're going to create your business plan. It's very important to have a business plan once you're starting a business. And the business plan should just basically be a summary of your business. Your target. I'm looking down because I also have notes. Because your business plan, you'll be able to pitch to a lot of people. So make sure you have a solid business plan. And you want to highlight everything in that business plan. You want to break everything down in your business plan, even down to your marketing strategy, your goals that you want to meet financially, your target audience as well. And then you're going to execute. It might take a long time to create your business plan, but that is absolutely fine. And once you execute, you're going to repeat the steps all over again because your vision will change as your business grow. Okay. I went ahead of myself, but then after you create your business plan and now when you're getting ready to execute, the legal entities of a business is very, very important. And again, a lot of people are not talking about this, but it's very important when you're starting a business. And someone shared earlier, he plans on doing a nonprofit. Most people now are starting with an LLC. If they want to go into a nonprofit, I personally did not do an LLC. Well, I started with an LLC because that's all I knew. But then after a year in business, I switched the legal entity from an LLC to an S Corp because I've learned from a lot of wealthy people, S Corp is the best way because of the tax preferences. We know America is created around businesses, and you get a lot of grants with S Corps. There's a lot, like I said, tax write-off with S Corps. And there's like a lot of benefits to it. So you want to do your research about which entity will be perfect for the business that you would like to start. Okay. Any questions about that part? No, everybody's good. Okay. I know a few people came in.
I have a question.
Okay. I can't see.
Were you saying that you prefer the S corp over the LLC? Is there a preference to look out for?
Yeah, well, based on some of the consultation I did as with business consultations, I realized that there were a lot more tax breaks with an S Corp because I was running my business from home. And I still run my business from home. So with an S Corp, I'm able to write off my rent, my Wi-Fi, my light, my water, things like that. I can just split the cost and split it between personal and business. So that's a big benefit. Also, when it comes to a lot of business credits, for some reason, I've learned to get a lot of money in funding. They respect more S Corps over LLC because LLC it's more so it's still a liability. It's like just additional passive income, so to speak. With the S Corp, you need to have like a board, You need to say that you're having meeting in minutes. And then it allows you to have additional LLCs, like fictitious LLCs running under your S Corp. So the name of my legal business is on paper is not the Simple Pleasures Candle. That is a fictitious LLC name running under my S Corp. And then that's what's pushed out in the market, but on the legal documents, it is written as Life's Little Pleasures Incorporated. So I have an Inc. So once I learned the loophole when it comes to what's would benefit my business in the long run, I went with an S Corp. So that's why it's good to have a vision, because once you have a vision and you know if you're going to add additional things within your business, then someone will guide you to do an S Corp over an LLC. Now, what I've noticed when it comes to LLC, the government is really cracking down on it. And I really don't know if it's because of so many businesses were birthed during the pandemic, but now starting 2024, there's going to be an additional reporting that business owners with an LLC has to do to the government, or they're going to be a fine of up to $500 for late fees. It's a new Consumer Protection Act or something like that they're passing in Congress, and it should go into effect by 2024. And that's going to affect a lot of minority-owned businesses, because most people that start a small business, they're starting with LLCs. It's flying under the radar for now, but it goes into effect January 2024. Another part when it comes to the legal entity of a business that most people really don't dive into, and it's very complex, is your state taxes that you might have to file every quarter. Your sales taxes, that depends on the type of business you have. Also the annual report that's due for each state. So each state, the beginning of a new year, between January and May, you have to report to the state that you're still in operation, and keep your business name active. If that is not done, that is a fine, and your business entity goes inactive. Okay, so those are some of the legal things that a lot of people do not talk about. Anybody else with a question around that?
So regarding annual reports or
I wish I could
yeah.
see that. Go ahead.
Oh, you can't see me?
But go ahead, it's fine.
Can you see me? Oh yeah. So regarding annual reports, you mentioned like fines as opposed to maybe failure to let's say put in an annual filing, for example. I recall one of the first things that I set up, I set up first business that I set up is like some sort of a marketing agency, but I have not gone back to that in a while. And when you just mentioned filing, I recall like and fines, it's like what?
So you're in New York, so you can just do your research as far as I'd have to try to send you the link to go to the New York website for your businesses, but you can type in your business name on that site, and if there's no fines, it will just say it's inactive. So the annual report is just for you to report that your business is still active. So if it was just still sitting there, it just probably went inactive.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? But another thing to keep in mind, when you decide to kick off your business and you've registered it, you must get a tax ID number, and that's called an EIN, right? And that's free through the IRS. I see a lot of people on social media now, they're charging people to get an EIN number. You do not need to do that. It is absolutely free on the IRS website. The EIN is basically the social security number for your business. And if for some reason you decide to take a break from your business or your business is going to go inactive, you want to make sure the IRS make the EIN number also inactive. I'm sure you've all seen a lot of people getting in trouble for the PPP loans that they gave out during COVID. A lot of people are scamming the government by going on the government website or the state that they're in and researching businesses that went inactive. And they just found the EIN numbers for those businesses and reported as their legitimate business. So those, again, that's all under the umbrella of the legal entities that's important for starting a business. Social media, it seems like all you have to do is create an LLC, come up with a name for your business, and market on social media. No, I wish it was that easy, but it's really not. Now, as far as marketing, you want to tell a story with your branding for your company, whatever that company is, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's a consulting business. You want to think about your brand. You want to think about what story you want to tell, your target audience, the image around your business. When it comes to marketing and branding, it will always evolve. It will always evolve, right? Until you get to your ultimate goal. I just celebrated year 2 in my business, I think in November. And now I'm going with an all white theme for my business. My candle vessels are white. It's just clean and crisp and elegant. That's just the vision I want to do for this year. And you will always switch up. Now with marketing, do not rely only on social media. I know we're in the social media world, but figure out how to balance both worlds. Think about the old school way of marketing, newspaper, radio, TV. And because a lot of people are not utilizing the newspaper anymore, there's always ad spaces out there. Think about also local publishing agencies are just publishing magazines. Since I've started, I've had at least 4 or 5 features in local online publishing articles here in South Florida that focus on small businesses. So tap into that element as well. Do the old school flyers on doors. That's always a part of marketing. Job fairs or any pop-up shops are also good for marketing. So don't just rely on social media. Okay, hit all angles when it comes to social media. Any questions about marketing? Because my brain with marketing is pretty good. Anybody have questions about marketing your business? No.
Hi, I had a question. I was really late, so I don't know.
Oh no, that's fine.
I'm so sorry, but I don't even know what LLC is or the other one that you said. And I
Or
was like, damn.
S-corp. LLC is a limited liability corporation, and that's what most people register their business as at first. And it's fine if you want to start off with an LLC first until you figure out how big you're going to take your company, right? Because I remember I started off with an LLC, and then when I decided like, oh no, I'm going to branch off in so many areas with my company, I want to make this an S-corp. And I reached out to someone that she handles all my business taxes. And I was like, how do I switch this over? How much is it going to cost me? Because I realized the tax purposes. Since I started and I've gone to a lot of conferences and I've sat in the room with a lot of people who are multi-millionaires, they learn the loophole. They find a way to beat the system. The best way to break the system is try to beat the system. And when it comes to businesses, S-corp for me, my business, getting an ink was the best way because I not only focus on candles, but I also have car air fresheners. I also have room sprays. I have reed diffusers. I plan on expanding into home decor and home goods as well. So that's why I created an S Corp, because I plan to have other branches of the business. So for the queen that just asked, that's just different legal entities that you could register your business under, depending on how far. And another part, when it comes to the legal part, that folks venture into is trademarking, which is a whole nother game plan. As a whole nother beast when it comes to your business. So example, do you guys know about Slutty Vegan? Pinky Cole, Slutty Vegan?
No, tell us more.
You don't know about Slutty Vegan? She's known in Atlanta,
No.
Georgia, and I think she just opened a Slutty Vegan in Harlem and Brooklyn. But
I
it's-
live in Harlem. What?
yes, it's a vegan fast food restaurant.
I'm gonna check her Instagram.
Yes, and they're known for her vegan burgers that really don't taste like vegan burgers. Jose, I see your question. I'll read it in a second. So with her menu is very limited. And what she did was every recipe, everything on her menu is trademarked. So I think she has one called Fussy Hussy or One Night Stand. She has a burger called One Night Stand and things like that. She trademarked it. You can trademark the name of your business if you know you're not going to change it, trademarking your logo, trademark if you come up with a slogan or a tagline for your company. Excuse me, you can trademark that. And what that is put in the national stamp that no one can use your logo or your name. If they use it, you can sue them. Example, Starbucks. You cannot use a Starbucks logo on anything. If they see it, they will sue you for it. Okay, so
Is there a place to check to see if yours is being used already?
you can just Google it.
Oh, and that's it? Oh,
Yeah, you can, there's a trademarking website and you can Google it. And it's funny because I knew about trademarking, but as a candle owner, I was like, oh, do I really need to worry about trademarking right now? Until last year, when a candle owner, she was in one of the candle groups I follow on Facebook, and she got so upset. She's been in business now for 20 plus years, and I think she's in North Carolina. And all her candles were around the South. Like she had fun. She grew up in the South. She came up with fun candle names about the South. And a major company, I will not say the name, decided to launch candles with the same names that she has. And they trademarked those names and now filing a lawsuit against her. So she has to now revamp her entire company and try to change the names of some of her candles. So on the legal end, trademarking is pretty good if you know that you're going to stick to a name, stick to a logo, stick to a saying, a tagline. Once you trademark it, no one can use it. And there's different levels to your trademarking. So you can trademark it where no one can use it on a cup, on a t-shirt, in advertisement. You can break down the areas to limit where they can use, where you plan on using your trademark. Jose's question says, does the emphasis on marketing shift once your brand builds a name that is respected, or is marketing something that no matter who it is, you have to emphasize? Yep, it doesn't matter who it is, you have to emphasize it. Doesn't, even when you're shifting and growing your business, always emphasize your marketing, always keep going. Because reality is, if you're not marketing your business, who's gonna know about it? Who's gonna know about it? So any more questions about the entity of business and any more entrepreneurial questions? Because now I want to get into how do you create the boundary between your career and your entrepreneurial life. It can get tricky because sometimes it spills over. And then if you don't create a balance, you don't create boundaries, burnout happens. For sure, burnout happens. So before I shift into that world for a second. Anybody have any more questions about the entrepreneurial stuff, or we can wait for the end? Jose, do you plan on starting a business?
No, I'm not really creative. I want to go into corporate banking or corporate America.
Nice. Call the corporate world. I might be able to hire you one day. Okay, that's cool. That's wonderful. I like that. But even when you go into corporate world, you can turn that into a business. You can turn that into consulting. Never sell yourself short. Jose, never sell yourself short. Look at Rihanna. You think Rihanna would have become a billionaire if she was only a singer? No, I love Rihanna, but I mean, her voice wouldn't have made her a billionaire. When it comes to balancing entrepreneurship and a career, creating clear boundaries is crucial. Without defined limits, it can be easy to let the two worlds bleed into each other, causing stress and burnout. One way to create boundaries is by setting specific work hours for both your job and your entrepreneur pursuits. This will help you prioritize your time and avoid overworking yourself. So how do I implement this? My life is really crazy, and sometimes I really just like, girl, you're a mess. But I have really, really strict boundaries. And yes, you have to separate the two worlds. I work my regular job. I'm in the office from 4:30 a.m. Yes, you heard me correctly. 4:30 a.m. till 1 p.m. Then by the time I get home, I do a breather. I have my consultation contract therapy job where I'm doing usually from 4 to 7, but I do that only Monday to Thursday, right? Then on the weekends will be my time to create my candles. Friday through Sunday, I'm working on my candles. Now my Sundays are dedicated to marketing, branding, stuff I need to plan out for social media. So planning is very important. And now we're going to get into that in another slide. But if you don't have a strict schedule, that's where really the overworked feeling comes in. That's where the burnout feeling comes in. And it's also good to separate the space, especially if you're working from home. When most of us, when you're starting out in a business, you can't afford to rent a space to do your entrepreneurial things. You're working from home. So if you have a designated area in your house that you can let that be your entrepreneurial space. When I just started out, I got rid of my dining room table. Got a table, I got a desk, a chair. I set up my entire, this is supposed to be the dining room area of the kitchen, but that became my candle making setup. Now that I moved into a condo, I have to now figure out my candle making setup. The candle supplies are tucked away in the storage out on the balcony, and you just have to learn how to separate the space so nothing overflows. And again, a strict schedule and prioritizing what matters. I try to balance a social life, but sometimes it's hard, right? And it's important to squeeze that in. But if you have certain goals for your business, because once you're done with work, you're done with work, right? Unless you're working from home, and sometimes you feel like you're never ending when it comes to work, but set your time for when you're just done with work, you're done with work. When it comes to entrepreneurs, sometimes you feel like if you're not hitting your goals, then you don't want to stop. No, set realistic goals and balance your time that way. And if you say, okay, on Fridays, like for me, most Fridays, I try to unwind a little bit before I dive into any candle making, any branding, any researching. And I'll say, okay, between 5 and 7, all I'm doing is my entrepreneurial work. Between those 2 hours, I'm not doing anything else but what I set out to do. So it's very important to have a set schedule. I mentioned this already about designating a physical space for your entrepreneurial things. Starve your distractions, feed your focus. This is around boundaries. It's very important to communicate your boundaries with others, whether it's your boss, your colleagues, your business partners, your friends, your family, and your friends and your family are going to be the people that challenge your boundaries the most. Whether like you're Jose and you just want to focus on career, you have no interest in adding entrepreneurship, it's the same thing. Because before I ventured into entrepreneurial world and I was just straight career driven, I still had to create boundaries because you're working long hours. Most of you now you're still in school. So it's between school and work and all these things. Boundaries is very, very, very important. So you need to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. It is okay to say no. It is okay to say no. I know you might want to live up to the million labels you might have, whether you're a son, a daughter, a mom, a husband, a wife, the auntie, the uncle, whatever the label is, you feel like sometimes you have to live up to those labels, but it's okay to say no. No needs to be a full sentence in your life. When it comes to either it's just your career, entrepreneurship, or you're combining both worlds, you need to become comfortable with saying no. Also, rest. This idea of hustling hard, hustle never stop. No, don't do that. You will burn yourself out. And I'm talking from experience because I was so driven, like I would work long hours, I come home and I'm just on go. And last year, out of nowhere, I started to feel really sick. I could not, and this was like coming from vacation, but I was feeling nauseous. I couldn't keep anything down. I wasn't sleeping well and all of that. And I was just like, this is not good. I went to see the doctor. My blood work came back fine until the doctor told me, she was like, Tasheena, you are chronically exhausted. I cried. I sat in her office and I cried because I didn't know that was a thing to say. I was like, chronically exhausted. What do you mean? I do sleep. I go to, she's like, no, you're not resting. Your brain is always on go. You're not taking a break to breathe. You need 8 hours of sleep. I didn't believe in having 8 hours of sleep. I feel like once I closed my eyes, 4 hours was good enough. Apparently, no, we really do need 8 hours to rest. She said I was sleeping, but I wasn't resting. Also focus. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eyes on your goal. That's why I started with having a clear vision. If your vision is eventually you're going to have a booming nonprofit that's serving the community of the South Bronx, and then you're going to go into Brooklyn, you're going to go into Queens, nationwide if you want to, whatever that major goal is, whatever that major vision is, stay focused on that, stay locked in on that. Your vision and your goal should be so big it will scare you because you're going to wonder, how the heck am I going to get there? What tools do I need to get there? Stay locked in and focus on that and be able to block out any distraction. If you carved out your 2 hours every day to focus on whether it's your business or focus on learning more about the career field that you're going into, lock in on those 2 hours. Those 2 hours are non-negotiable because that's for you. At the end of the day, who else is going to make those goals? No one else but you, right? So make sure your boundaries are clear to everyone. Creating clear boundaries between your career and entrepreneurship, you can maintain a healthy work-life balance and achieve success in both areas. Work-life balance can sound like a foo-foo-fa-fa thing, but it is doable. I've learned how to do it. Sometimes sometimes I go crazy, especially when I know if I'm launching a new collection for my birthday or a new collection for the holidays, which is like my busiest season, or Mother's Day, or whatever the case is, I will go crazy for a good 2-3 weeks. I will go nuts because I have to think about the marketing behind it, the vessels, the fragrances. Like there's so many different things that I have to focus on. My work-life balance is just like out the window. I completely forget about it. And then when I come back down to earth, I have to go back in the work-life balance. So let me ask you guys a question. Now with school, and some of you might work, what does your work-life balance look like right now? Anybody?
I could go.
Go ahead.
I mean, for me, Monday through Thursdays, pretty much. It's pretty much just school from 9 to 9. Fridays, I get to go home a little earlier, and even on the weekend, I am doing work, but I'm kind of like pushing that to the side and picking up a book to read or taking a walk in the park to kind of refresh and over the weekends. Sorry, I'm
That's
looking for my charger. That's why I'm turning.
No, that's fine. But I like that, right? Then what made you come to the decision to, on the weekend, slow down a little bit?
Well, I went through a transferring process. I'm applying to transfer, so I did about 15 schools. So the last couple of months for me have been hectic. It's been a lot of work, and now that I'm not having to write essays on the weekends, or I kind of take it a little lighter, and I'm enjoying this time. I mean, I'm gonna transfer to a 4-year school next semester, so I'm kind of just taking it easy now
Nice.
and saving up energy for when I transfer.
Ugh, you're gonna need that energy, Jose. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? What does your work-life balance look like right now? Or are you struggling to create a work-life balance?
This is Casey Witter. I don't have a work-life balance right now. It's like I had a good one coming up until like just the last part of the semester. I feel like now that I know that like I'm almost done, I'm just like, just get over it, just get over it. So like everything feels kind of crumbled some days, and then some days I feel like I have everything in order and like everything's going nice. And other days I'm just like, oh my God, can I make it to 2 o'clock? Can I make it to 2 o'clock? I just gotta make it to 2 o'clock. So yeah, so that's and the thing is I know what I'm doing wrong and I know what to do to fix it, but mentally I'm just tired and lazy.
Tired.
Yeah. I can't even lie.
Thank you for being honest. And
Yeah.
that happens, right? But as you grow in your career path or even your entrepreneurial path, you want to figure out that work-life balance because it is very, very easy to burn yourself out. And if you don't listen to the mind, the body will tell you. The body will tell you. Anyone else? Armand, you got really quiet now that we have company. Okay. I am struggling. I spent most of the week working and have class 1 day a week. It's difficult to make time for myself and keep up with assignments. It is, Carla. I know that struggle when I started grad school. I think all my years after I left Bronx Community College, my undergrad, I was working because I was a maniac. And then when I went back to grad school, when I started NYU, I was still working full time. They had to change the entire program to accommodate me because I did not want to stop working. So I was working as a dean of students in the morning, and then I had evening classes, and then 3 days I had internship. I had internship Thursday night, Friday night, and then Saturday all day. Oh, you're babysitting. It's okay. And then I had internship all day Saturday. So it's really difficult, Carla, but somehow I would want to challenge you to create at least an hour. At least give yourself 1 hour on the weekend to just breathe. I like Jose's idea of just grabbing a book and read or just walking in the park. New York weather is going to start to, get decent soon. to really go outside and enjoy some fresh air, but give yourself at least an hour. I don't care if you're just sitting on the couch and listening to some music, but give yourself an hour to at least rest. That work and class struggle, it's really tough. I did it throughout grad school and my body paid for it after I graduated. And it brings me now to routines. It's very important, whether you decide, like Mr. Jose, you're going in the corporate world or you're out in the entrepreneurial world. Doesn't matter whether you're juggling both or just one. It's very crucial to have a routine. Your routine determines your success. This is something I learned from a lot of successful people. And I'm throwing that in there because don't box yourself in. Don't tell yourself you don't belong in certain rooms. Research. Eventbrite is a really good website to go on and find events that's popping up in your area. When I started my business, I missed New York more and more because New York is literally the melting pot for everything. The city's buzzing with everything. Research events that might pop up in New York that you're interested in. Again, it goes back to make sure you have a vision, right? So when you find those events, go into the room, rub shoulders, learn from these successful people. One of the main things I've learned from successful people, last year I went to Invest Fest in Atlanta. Tyler Perry was one of the key speakers, Steve Harvey, the CEO of Chick-fil-A. So you're talking about billionaires on this stage, and they did not talk about their money. It's not about the money for them. Main thing I took from them, they spoke about boundaries and they spoke about routines. Every single one of them have a routine of a mindset routine, spirituality routine, and some form of physical wellness. If you can master these things, believe you me, I will tell no lie, your career path, your entrepreneurial path will be very successful, even through the bumps and bruises that might come along those paths. If you master your mindset, you master your spiritual practice, and you master some type of physical wellness, you will be successful. Because if you develop the discipline in these three areas, that discipline that you have now developed and completely mastered, it's a part of your life, that discipline will reflect in your business. It will reflect in your career. Okay? So your mindset is the first one. Wait, hold on. Have a lot of ideas, but family wants me a PhD to finish school before entrepreneurship. At least I have not been neglected. Your family might want one thing for you, but what do you want for you? Comes down to what you want for you. And you can do both. You can do both if you want to. Okay? It is doable. It is possible. I've done it and I've seen a lot of people do it. But goes back to my previous slide. Distraction, block out the distraction, starve the distraction. Once you have a vision, the vision you have for your life is your vision. Your vision, a lot of people will not understand your vision because they don't see it. And it's okay if they don't see it. It is absolutely okay. I know if I call my mom right now and say, Mom, I'm going back to school, I'm going to get my doctorate in social work. Oh my God, she will be the happiest. I don't know what it is with Caribbean mothers because they just want us to have a doctor in front of our name. No, ma'am, my NYU student loan is still kicking my butt. I feel like a degree from NYU should have sufficed. But I literally, it's right, Jose, it's a doctor or a lawyer. Ma'am, no, I'm tired, okay? School is a lot of work. I don't think people understand that. School works your brain. I don't want to pick up any book about school after I graduated grad school. No way. No, I don't want to look at social work books right now. But you can do it. Leotin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing, I'm probably mispronouncing your name. I'm very sorry. But master these 3 areas of your life, your mindset. When you wake up every morning, and I want you all to confess, how many of you grab your phone and go on social media first thing when you wake up in the morning? Don't lie to me. Just type yes in the chat. Jose, thank you for raising your hand. Type yes in the chat if that happens to you. You either go straight on social media or you're looking at the news. Jason is at fault. Okay. Sashi, thank you for confessing. Confession is good for the soul. How does that make you feel? How does that affect your mind? Think about these things. How does that affect your mindset in the morning? If as soon as you wake up, you're grabbing Armani, I'm very surprised at that. I don't even know you, but I'm literally judging. You don't have to go as extreme as deleting it, but if you feel like deleting it will help you create the mindset you need on your journey, go ahead. If you feel like you need to, go ahead. Okay. I haven't been on social media since February. I posted that I moved into my condo and I've been MIA, and I was a social media girl. I was always posting on social media religiously because of my business and how I was marketing, right? So, but when it comes to your mindset, I would say my birthday is coming in July. I'm turning 40. So I would say, yep, July of this year will be 10 years where I have developed the mindset discipline. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I'm reading a devotional. Okay. I'm not looking at social media. It took me 10 years to create that discipline. My phone might be the last thing I touch. Social media is the last thing I look at. I'm waking up at 3:30 in the morning. I might glance at social media around 8 o'clock. And I've been up from 3:30, right? Mindset. When I'm in these rooms, these wealthy people talk about when they wake up in the morning, they're either doing a devotional, they are either praying, and that's where the spirituality comes in. Whatever being you believe in, they're doing some kind of spiritual routine and mindset routine in the morning. They're listening to mindset and positive thinking things. Jason, I can send you the playlist if you want to share it with everyone here. But I have a YouTube playlist that I've cultivated over the years, and it has over 300 videos. 300 has over 300 positive, motivating speeches over the years from a lot of people. I have over 300, and I've shared it with even my clients that are in therapy. So how you start your day matters. Whether you want to listen to these things for 10 minutes while you're getting dressed for work or school, or 30 minutes on your commute, pop it in. Whatever podcast that you're listening to works, as well as developing your mindset. You need to develop a strong mindset because failure will happen on your journey. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, but you cannot avoid it. Failure will happen. There will be times on your journey you will need to pivot. And when a lot of these local publishers interviewed me, that was one of the questions. How did I navigate the pivots in starting a business? How did I deal with not having supplies? Did that, discourage me from moving forward, or did I have to figure out another way? I had to figure out another way. That's why it's very important. Whatever you're doing, whether it's career or entrepreneur, you must want to do it because you're the one that has to get up every day and get it done. Not the brother, your sister, your mama, your cousin, the dad, the children. No one else. You have to be the one to get up and get it done. So it has to be something you wanted. When I graduated high school, my mom, I didn't know exactly what I wanted yet. My mom told me to go to New York Institute of Technology and study computer science because I was good at computers. I hated every second of it. I did 1 year and I said, I'm not going back. And she was mad and I took a break and then I started over. I was like, I'm going to Bronx Community College until I figure this out. And that's what I did, right? So you have to develop the right mindset and spiritual belief, whatever that belief is, whoever that higher power is that you believe in, must also be a part of your world. And some kind of physical wellness. No, you don't have to go to the gym every single day. I mean, who can afford a gym membership in the middle of this global recession? But there's the YouTube University, right? Do some kind of physical wellness throughout, incorporate it throughout your week, whether it's once a week, twice a week, only on weekends, whether it's yoga, Pilates, or just walking, have some physical mastery as well, okay? You master these 3 things, you will be successful, okay? Books. A part of my mindset routine is what I read. These are my top 6 favorite books. Take a picture of it, write them down. I highly recommend I go to the one at the school. As you said, Sashi, good for you. Proud of you on that one. Now you just got to work on the mindset and not touching your phone first thing in the morning. Well, you can touch your phone, but it doesn't have to be on social media right away. These 4 books are my favorite 4 books of all time. Get it and read it. It will help you in your entrepreneurial journey. It will help you in your career path. I wish I had these books when I was in school and trying to figure out life. It will never figure you. I don't think we'll ever get to the point where you officially finish figuring out life, because life is always changing, right? And you're going to evolve. The 4 Agreements is my favorite. It's my top favorite. You master the 4 Agreements in this book, and you'll be great. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, Jacqueline. If that works for you, that works for you. I personally cannot listen to Audible books. I'm so old school. I'm just old. Okay, I'm as old as Jason, y'all. I'm just old. I'm an old gal. Give me a good book. Like, I have to feel it. I have to smell it, but whatever works. If the Audible books work for you, it works. Okay, you're older than me? Okay, well, then I'm trying to catch up to you, girl. I'm trying to catch up. I'm gonna catch up. But if audio works, it works, right? Especially if you're commuting or things that you're always on the go and it works for you, it works for you. I'm a note taker. It doesn't matter which book I'm reading. Even if I have it on my Kindle, I still order it. Like, I need to have a physical. The 4 Agreements I love. One of the agreements is never take things personal. Excuse me. Never take things personal. You need to master that and let it become a part of your mantra in life. Never take things personal. Okay? Never, ever, ever. Running a business, you're going to need to learn that. Your career path, you're going to need to learn that. Never take things personal. It's not you. Oftentimes somebody's projecting. It's not you. Okay. Think and Grow Rich is a popular one. A lot of successful people recommend this book. I've read it and it took me a very, very honest opinion. It took me a very long time to read this book. And I feel like it just depends on the stage you're in your life. I've tried this on Audible and it just didn't work. I tried reading it physically and it just took me a long time to get through it. And I don't think I still grasp everything out of it, because it's one of those books where you just have to go back and read it. It was a good read, but you have to go back and read it. Don't Drop the Mic by T.D. Jakes is one of my favorite as well, especially if you plan on going into any kind of speaking. And engagement and speaking roles. It's a really good book because he talks about once you develop a platform, you do have a power in what you are presenting to the world, what you're marketing to the world. And I spoke about marketing and branding earlier. And you yourself is a brand, right? And Jose, I'm not picking on you, but Jose is going into the corporate world. And when he presents himself into the world, oh, I think we lost him, but whoever you are, when you're presenting yourself to the world in your career field, how are you presenting yourself? How are you speaking? How are you posturing up when you enter these spaces matters. That's a very good book to get. The Power of Self-Discipline, No Excuses by Brian Tracy. If you are not ready to get your entire life snatched, don't get this book. This book is very much in your face, tell you the truth, and honest truth, especially when we make excuses about not having enough time. There's a part in the book where he breaks down the 24 hours of the day. And it was very eye-opening when the way he broke it down. And I was like, oh my gosh, we really do tend to make a lot of excuses. For example, one thing I've done, like even right now, I do not have a TV in my house, right? When I moved, I was like, okay, I'll keep my TV and I'll probably just keep it in the bedroom. I might not have one in the living room. I don't even know. And the universe had it, my TV broke when I moved. And I really don't miss it because I realized I really didn't watch TV a lot. When I had the TV on, it was more like background noise. So I found myself when I had some downtime, when I'm at home, instead of just binge watching something on Netflix for hours, I was creating some kind of flyer. And I forgot to touch on this during my marketing spiel, but if you can create your own stuff instead of outsourcing, will save you a lot of money. Canva is my best friend. You can create so much things on Canva now. You really don't need a graphic or a graphic designer. Depends on what you're marketing. But when in this book, when he broke down how you utilize your 24 hours, I was shocked, and I don't remember if it was Carla or Sashi that mentioned, the balancing of the both of all the world. If you really sit down, you can figure out at least an hour of breathing time, an hour to read, an hour to work out, or sometimes you just need 30 minutes to work out. I realize as we become adults, we get very comfortable in our excuses, right? When we were younger, we did what we needed to do to leave school, to graduate high school, right? Right now, you're in college, you're on your venture, you're doing what you need to do to get this done, to get this degree or transfer over to your four-year college or wherever your next adventure is. Life is an adventure. You don't make excuses about that. But somehow we make an excuse when it comes to whether entrepreneurship, or if it's just to rest, or if it's just to work out or read a book for enjoyment. Somehow we make an excuse that we don't have time. And that's the biggest one, we don't have time. But if you navigate the right boundaries and don't break those boundaries are non-negotiable, the excuses will fall to the wayside. So No Excuses is one of my top favorite. Jay Shetty, I'm obsessed with Jay Shetty. Think Like a Monk made it to one of my my top 10 books to read. And it's more so on a spiritual, it's good for your spiritual wellness and mindset. He really focused on how do you apply some of the monk principles in your life. And I know it might sound foo-foo-fa-fa, but it really works. And we can all utilize some of the skills of a monk and how we tend to allow society to dictate how we navigate our space in the world. And his book is a great lesson on how to not do that. right? This is another one that took me a long time to read, only because I was rereading chapters, highlighting and making notes. But it's a must-have. On-F Yourself is one of my favorite books. The author talks a lot about how we self-sabotage a lot when it comes to our careers, when it comes to life decisions, entrepreneur venture as well. We self-sabotage a lot. So please add those to your list. Jacqueline, add it to your audibles. I know you're gonna like them if you haven't read them already. Any questions? I think I'm towards the end. Yeah. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything you want to know that I did not cover? I'm at your disposal. Jason, you have a question? You just pop up on my screen. I'm looking them up now as we speak. Okay, thank you, Jacqueline.
I actually have a question. I know like this is like focused on the US, but like what about if we come from like different countries and like we're interested in starting businesses in other countries, like back in our home country? Like, do you have like general like pointers for us? And I mean, I know that when it comes to like the tax and the legal senses, like it would not be the same, but just
What-
like general.
It's literally the same. Where are you from?
Jamaica.
Oh, me too. Hey, girl.
Lord of mercy. Hi.
I actually wanted to do a business in Jamaica as well, but I was like, oh my God, it's like jumping through hoops and bounds. What I can say is this: if you're from the islands, one tip that most of my friends gave me is go through the diaspora. If it's like a nonprofit that you want to do, starting a business in Jamaica, if you were born and raised there, you have to really be down there and be hands-on. But the steps are basically the same. Coming up with a name, filing the entity and things like that, business bank account, all those things. The steps are basically the same. But if you live in the US and you're running a business there, you want to make sure like the business bank account has US currency. Right? And you can accept whatever it is, whether you want to accept payments or whatever your services is. That's one thing. And make sure you trust them. Welcome to all the yachties. You know, Jason have a thing for Caribbean folks. I tell you, Jason is an honorary Caribbean man. Caribbean/African. He just has us all around him. But yeah, that just do a lot of research. A lot of research when it comes to adding a business. Okay, see, Jamaican too. See, now look what you started. Any other questions? Everybody's good? Mr. Future Doctor PhD Leonton, I feel like I mispronounced. Jason, how do you pronounce his name?
Leighton.
Leighton, okay. No questions?
No.
I have a question.
Okay, Jacqueline.
Yeah, I just graduated John Jay College of Criminal Justice. I'm an alumni of Hostos.
Oh.
And an ambassador for the Student Leadership Academy, but I have been out for a while. What happened? I graduated John Jay. I finished my studies in December, but I didn't graduate until summer, it was in June they had their graduation this year. But what happened is that I had to go back to my home country of Jamaica to do some legal business because I had some assets which was neglected, and then unscrupulous people decided to claim it as theirs because I was focusing on my studies, because I was dead set on graduating getting my bachelor's degree in exactly 4 years or under, which I did. But it was I am 54 years old. So for me to be juggling family, I'm a grandmother, career, because I was doing federal work study. Even when I went to John Jay, I was still working at Baruch College as a federal work studies off-campus student. I had to travel to Baruch and then back to John Jay for school. So it was very taxing having a thing. So I had neglected a lot of my affairs, and I took a sabbatical, and I had to go back to Jamaica to get it all cleared up. So I just came back. I came back 1 month to today, March 28th.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes. So my thing is now I am navigating the system, and it's like I'm like an alien dropped down to earth because everything has changed in 16 months. Everything is like I'm coming to a new world. It's like I am a new immigrant all over again. So I am here updating resumes, doing everything that works, and trying to get employment online and stuff like that. So it is very undaunting. It is very undaunting because I am old school, as you speak. We old school. And we used to the up in your face thing, and this online thing is driving me crazy. So I don't know how.
But you don't have to, if you're starting a business, you don't have to focus solely on social media.
Okay.
There's so many people, especially for a woman your age. I actually you say you're older than me, but I literally mentor a woman she's about 56. I think she just launched her fashion boutique.
It doesn't matter of the man, the person, of the age is just a factor.
The age is just something, right?
Yeah, it's just a
social
number.
media, she was
Yeah.
like this online
Anybody
thing,
can mentor
not for
anybody.
me. But yeah, online stuff, social media stuff can be a lot. But the good thing is they've made it very user friendly now as far as a website, right?
Okay.
Shopify is my personal platform that I like to use. So whether you are selling a service, whether it's consulting, a nonprofit, selling products, Shopify is very easy because I think it's only like $29 unless you decide to like add additional apps and stuff built in. But they have free templates that you can just use their template and just substitute the photos and the words on there, and you can launch your website, right? So if that's too much, on Fiverr, you can hire somebody to do it for like probably $20 or $30, maybe even 50 to get it done. But yeah, the online stuff can be intimidating sometimes. But again, you don't have to stick to just social media to promote your business or to spread word about your business. Old school word of mouth works. Earlier I mentioned newspaper marketing, television marketing. There's so much space and room for that now because people are not utilizing it. So a lot of local publishers or big newspapers that have spaces for ads that people are not using. And old school door knocking works.
Yeah.
Old school door knocking.
No, the uncanny thing about it is that I had social media up until 2018. And when I did my first criminal justice class, Criminal Justice 101, I had a professor, Lynette Rosado. She's one of the justices at the Bronx Supreme Court. She's a Supreme Court judge now at the Bronx Supreme Court. I don't know if anybody here knows of her. She's still at Hostos. But she was there when I was. And she told us about the pitfalls of social media. And 90% of the class erased their social media.
It has its pros and cons.
And since then, I am one of the ones that haven't been back to it because I still, every time I touch social media, I remember her words ringing in my head.
You know what I've learned with social media, and this is just something, again, doesn't matter. People buy into people. It's not necessarily what you're providing. If they get to know you, they're going to support you. So the way I navigate my social media is for people to get to know me and then they support my business. People want to buy stuff, they want to support you in whatever you're doing, but they don't like to be sold on it.
Because what I would do, I would focus on my career and then a business as like a side thing.
Yeah.
And not, it wouldn't be a side hustle, just something side, because I wanted to be established more than a hustle. But I think a hustle is something temporary. I would like to establish, yes.
That's why I never use the word as I have a full-fledged business.
Yes,
Taxes on it. Uncle Sam knock on my door every year.
exactly.
So and once you market it, the branding, your posture around whatever you're doing on the side matters, and promote it on all areas. I'm sure everyone here has a LinkedIn because you're all venturing the career world. Jason,
Yes, I still have my
candle stuff on LinkedIn, but it's how you market to that audience. What I'll put on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, I don't have that on LinkedIn. I'm not going to use the same videos. I'm not going to use some of the same photos, but more so because I was featured in several local publications, I'll promote that on LinkedIn. I'll promote how I'm tying in my social work to my candle as aromatherapy. So I merge both worlds and sell it as that. It's self-care, it's mindset. And I've had so much support from like my NYU alumni community with my candles based on how I'm marketed on LinkedIn. So if you only have LinkedIn or only have Facebook, you have to know your audience and how you're marketing whatever you're doing, because the support is there. And you can't be private on these things. You can't be shy about it. Just like how you can easily tell someone where you got that outfit. You can easily tell someone about your business or about some of your goals when it comes to career. Okay. But thanks for sharing that, Jacqueline. Anyone else? Use me while you have me. My brain has a lot of stuff in it when it comes to business and career. Jason, do you have any questions, or I've given you enough gray hairs? I think everybody's good, Jason.
Yeah, I'm trying to find all the devices here. No, thank you. Thank you for putting this together. I think it was important. A lot of the folks who are participating in the programming are talking about how they can get involved in entrepreneurship or do things outside of the just whatever it is they're planning in terms of their career. So I thought it was a good topic to have a conversation about. And so I appreciate you for putting that together for us. And yeah, I think if all of you should take note of Tasheena and her businesses and some of the things that she's doing, maybe link up with her on LinkedIn and see how she goes through the process. Like we mentioned earlier, we know each other for quite a while. So I've seen her grow up and build all of these things from scratch. And it's pretty impressive because I know that nothing comes easy. It's a lot of work. And that all she did, all that stuff that she's done, she also did while she was, creating a career or multiple careers. And even moving and going through all of the processes that, we take for granted as being easy, right? Like moving from one state to another is not easy. Moving from one apartment to one apartment or from an apartment to a condo is not easy, or from an apartment to a house is not easy. All of it takes up energy, all of it takes up time. But to be able to manage career and entrepreneurship at the same time is pretty impressive. So, and I always look in to see what she's doing. I'll look for, I bought a candle when the business came up, and Occasionally I'll see like there's podcasts and things, and there's other things that she's doing. So it's always great to see how successful you are, and I wish you a great deal more success. And then this thing that we've collaborated on, I'm really hoping that you'll do more of this, and not just for us, but for other people, because I think you're really good at it. You have a natural talent to talk to people, make them feel comfortable. You've obviously been well trained in that, obviously in your career, but you've always been like somebody who's able to like communicate with people effectively. And so I hope you'll take this and use it and develop a platform for, being like that TD Jakes public speaker kind of thing, and reaching audiences, around the country, around the world. But I'm glad that you're able to give us some time on a Friday afternoon in April, right when we're getting ready to close out shop here in for the semester. And I'm really glad that you got to meet some of the folks who are here today. And I'm glad that you guys got to meet Tasheena, because I think that she's an extraordinary woman. And I'm always happy that she can be with us.
Oh, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. And what I was meant is called Corporate Transparency Act. Look that up. Forbes have a good article on it. It goes into effect January 2024 for anyone with LLCs. So dive into that. Thank you, Jason, for the kind words. Jason has my contacts as far as LinkedIn. You can find me on there, and I will put not my personal number, but one of my contacts. That's my business number. You can reach out to me at any point. As you can see, I'm a diehard New Yorker. I still have a 917 number, even though I live in the Republic of Florida. But reach out to me if you have any questions. I do not bite. I will answer any of your questions. If you need help in navigating any space, please feel free to reach out to me, shoot me a text, or if you find me on LinkedIn, don't be scared. I do still have a lot of connection in New York, whether it's entrepreneurial stuff you want to know about or career stuff you want to know about. My base is New York. New York is home for me, especially when it comes to a lot of my NYU community. I've met a lot of people. And if you don't know anything, if you did not learn anything else today, network. The people you have in your phone as a contact matters. I'm sure plenty of you've heard it. Your network determines your net worth. And that is very, very, very true. So don't be afraid to knock on doors, put yourself in rooms, because you belong in those rooms. Don't feel like you don't belong. You belong anywhere you see yourself. Place yourself there and network. I really learned that at NYU. Like right now, I have board of trustees from NYU in my phone, or the dean of School of Social Work contacts are in my phone. So you have to know your net worth and how to leverage that to make sure you get to your vision that you see for yourself. Okay, so if you don't learn anything else, take that from me. Come look at Jason and I. I've known Jason my whole life. So he literally watched me grow up. So thank you again, Jason, for having me, and I wish you guys all the best of luck on your venture.
Thank you so much, Tasheena. Thank you, everybody.
But said I look so young. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you talking.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Good to see you.
I added you on LinkedIn already. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very
Welcome
welcome.
back, Jackie. Good to see you too.
Thank you, Jason. Happy to be back.
All right, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye, Jason.
Bye-bye.
Bye.